All right, this is what I have. The next thing, you flip it to this other side, flip it like this, then you sew from this point. Okay, you sew from this point. You measure it from the edge of your fabric. You measure 5 inches. From that 5 inches, that's your, so you measure, here is the 5 inches. You measure from this point to this side is 5 inches. So I'll be sewing it straight down from here. Then when I get to this other side, I will not curve my hand, because this is where my material stopped. I'll curve my hand to this other side. All right. Okay. All right. So you take off the excess fabric. Now this edge, now you can take it to your to weaving machine. You can use your weaving machine to weave this mouth if you want it to be very neat, if you want your finishing to be very neat. But if you don't have a weaving machine, you can choose to leave it this way. All right, the next thing I'll be doing, I'll be attaching my handle this other way. So the measurement for the handle, I'll be working with 11.5 inches 11.5 inches for the width, okay, and the length is 2.5 inches. 11.5 inches for the width and 2.5 inches for the width. So now you fold it. I'll cut this in 2 places, okay? Cut it in 2 places, then you fold it like this. You fold it in 2 equal parts, take it to your sewing machine. You sew from this end straight down. When you get to this side, you curve, okay? All right. You see how I slanted it? When you get to the end, you slant it so that the mouth side will be pencil. And note, if you want it a little bit bigger, you can increase the length so that it will be fat. If you don't want it this slim, you can increase it to by 3, okay? If you want yours to be fatter, but I prefer it this way so that it will be easier to tie. That's why I prefer using a smaller size. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'll flip it to the front side of my fabric. Although this is the back side, I won't be sewing from the back. So I'll need to push it, pass it through, and bring it out. Are you seeing it? This is what I've gotten. So now the sewn part will be at the middle. The sewn part will be at the middle. This is how it's going to be, like this. So I'm going to do the second one the same way I did the other one. All right, you will be folding it inside like this. You fold the edge. I don't want that rough edge to show. You fold it inward like this. Then you take it to your base. Okay. Now I'll be taking 2 inches. Let's work with 2 inches, or you can take 1 inch. But I'll be using 2 inches. Okay. Take 2 inches away from the edge of your base. Then you attach your fabric from that point. You have your 2 inches. Now I'll be slanting it. This is how I'll be doing it. The sewn part will be facing upward, just as seen in the video. It will be facing upward just like this, okay? Then I will sew it, take it to my sewing machine. After sewing it, I'll flip it to this other way, okay? Please take note of it. I'll be doing the same way I did here in the other side of my fabric. All right, so I'm doing the same way I did that side. Please make sure your sewn part should be facing upward like this, not this way. You slant it this way, take it this way from that 2 inches, okay? Now you sew just the same way I did the previous one. You sew it and... All right, the next thing, I'll be doing my running stitch from this sewn part here. Please don't start from the end of this place, okay? Start from this place, you have your sewn part, okay? From that, where that 5 inches started from. So I'll be doing my running stitch from this end down to this other end. Now this is how to do a running stitch like this. Please ensure you sew from that sewn part. Ensure you sew from that sewn part. All right? Now, as you're doing this, when you get to the end of the fabric, you go ahead, you sew it again like 2 to 3 times so that your running stitch will be very firm. You sew 2 to 3 times, okay? You take it backward again. You sew it 2 to 3 times so that your work will be very firm. All right? And our work is ready. You flip it to the other side of your fabric and our turban, our V-shaped turban cap is ready. See how neatly made it is? Very beautiful and neat. It's ready. All right, the next thing I'll be doing, as it is like this, you can attach any design of your choice on it. If you want a braided pattern, you can go ahead and do it, okay? And this side, if you want it more smoother, you can go ahead, use your hot iron, press it down so that everything will be smooth. And this is our V-shaped turban cap. All right, let's go in designing our cap. All right, the design I'll be making use of the straw mat and a loop on the straw mat, okay? So the measurement for the loop shape we have here, is 9.5 inches by 4 inches, okay? 9.5 inches for the length and 4 inches for the width, okay? So I'll be taking this, I'll cut this in 6 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'll take it to my sewing machine, fold, make sure it is on an equal size. Then you take it to your sewing machine, sew from this end to this other end. All right.